Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Holowitz, and thank you for being here for this training. So, as we embark on your training in ACT Premium Cloud or ACT in the web, I want to give you a little bit of a history of this software. When ACT was developed more than 30 years ago, it was developed for desktop computers. Now, when you bought ACT, you typically got it on some kind of material like a disk or a CD in which you physically got the software in a box. It was shipped to you or you bought it in a store and you installed it on your computer. Through time, it became more of a download where you got a download that you installed on your computer. But ACT was desktop software. But through time, things have changed. We changed the way we act. Now we have ACT on multiple devices. We have it on portable phones, iPads, tablets, Android devices. It's in more than one place. So the way we act changed. And because of that, ACT as a company had to adapt to that. So they introduced something called the ACT Cloud. Now, on that term, ACT Cloud, I want to clarify something right here so that through this training, if you hear me refer to this in different ways, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So through time, ACT in the cloud or ACT in a web browser has been referred to by me and by others in many different ways. Same thing, but it's got a different name and terminology. So if you hear me call it ACT Premium for Web, or if you say ACT via web browser, or if you say ACT hosted, or if I call it ACT Growth Suite, in a nutshell, I'm talking about the same piece of software. ACT has changed through time. Now it's being offered as a subscription model with different options within that subscription. And frankly, they keep changing. So what I'm recording today in this tutorial might change next month. In fact, I almost have come to expect it. So be aware that some of the things that I'm going to say here today might change slightly. But let me just try to give you a brief overview of what to expect when you become an ACT Premium Cloud subscriber. So, what do you get? Well, first, you get ACT in the cloud. All your data is going to be in the cloud, so you can access it via browser if you decide that's the way you want to work with ACT. You also, with your subscription, you also get and are entitled to the ACT desktop software. Now, why do you want the desktop software? Well, maybe you just like the way ACT has worked traditionally through the years and you don't want to change that. You don't want to work in a web browser. No problem. What you will get is up to 2 remote databases. So for example, if you have a desktop computer and you have a laptop computer, you will first get ACT in the cloud. Then, with all your data being there, you can get 2 remote databases. For example, the first remote database might be called desktop remote and the second one might be called laptop remote. So you get 2 remote databases. It's something you sort of have to request and know how to get. And again, I'll talk to you about that in other tutorials. But you also get free tech support. Now let me clarify as of today what that tech support means. The tech support means that you can call and ask technical questions. It doesn't give you insights necessarily. It doesn't give you training. But it's sort of like taking your car to a mechanic when there's a problem. You have a problem, you go to the mechanic, you describe the problem, the mechanic fixes it. But what I do that's a little different from the free technical support and what you're getting here is training and insights and sort of a path to using ACT. The tech support isn't necessarily going to answer that unless you have a very specific pointed question. Then the free tech support is great. Also, you get the ACT Companion app. Now, what is that? And again, we're going to have tutorials on this, but the ACT Companion app is a tool that allows you to put ACT on your mobile devices, such as your phones, such as your tablets, your iPads, things of that nature. So, you get all of that with your subscription. Now, the big thing is most people don't realize, and it's not always described, that you get the desktop software as well. That's a very important thing to know. I've found some people go on the cloud, they've used the desktop version for years, they don't like the cloud experience, and no one tells them that they could have been using the desktop software all along. So, What kind of actor are you? Are you one person who uses Act just on your desktop, never wants it anywhere? Well, if that's you, that's fine. There's not a problem with that. But I am going to challenge you to say, wait a minute, I could be doing a little bit more of this, a little bit more with the software. Why not have your data on your phone? So when you're on the road, if you need to call a prospect or a client, you have their information right in front of you. Why not do that? Do it. You've got everything to gain and nothing to lose, and it's included. So let's say you're brand new to Act. You've never used Act before. You have no data. So what's going to happen is when you become a subscriber, you're going to have an Act database in the cloud. And that Act database in the cloud is something that you'll be able to start filling in information. That's easy. That's very easy to work with. But if you're an experienced Act user, what will occur is this. You will make a backup of your data. That backup will be uploaded to the cloud. That cloud will now hold all your data. So you can access all of your data via a web browser such as Google Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer. But then we will turn around, or you can turn around and get remote databases so you can install the desktop software and work with it on your desktop as well as in a web browser. So the question becomes, is the time right for you? Is Act Cloud the right thing for you? Well, it's sort of the way things are going these days. You're going to want to use your data in multiple places. And one of the things about Act Cloud is your data is backed up. That's another feature that I didn't mention, that your data is there. So should you have a disaster, you lose a computer, a hard drive fails, your data is in the cloud. So this is the way it can work. Once your data is in the cloud, you can access it distinctly or just through a web browser, as I already mentioned. But those two remote databases, for example, remote database for the desktop and for the laptop, all of those can stay in sync through what's called synchronization. So everything sort of goes in a big circle. If this week you work on the desktop, all your data from the desktop and all the work you do will go up to the cloud. If next week you work on the laptop for the whole week, well, you know what? All your data there will go up to the cloud. And then one week, if you work in the cloud exclusively, well, all your data will get back to both of those devices through synchronization. Synchronization can be automated. It can be scheduled, so you don't have to do anything. So I think the real elephant in the room for most of you is, what is the pricing? Well, this is sort of the hardest question for me to answer, and let me tell you why. Pricing varies. Or SwiftPage, I should say, the owners of Act, this is something new, and they're working really hard to take care of their customers. They're working on different pricing packages. They have upgrade pricing. They have promotional pricing. They have different aspects of Act that you can build into the software. For example, they have something called Marketing Automation, which is their fantastic email program that works right within Act. They have something called Growth Suite. And in fairness to the folks there, they're still working hard to try to figure out how to make this pricing fair and efficient and effective for their customers. And it keeps changing. So as a rule of thumb, I generally tell people count on approximately $400 per year, give or take 100, because they have different pricing, different promotional pricing. But this is the bottom line. If you are not doing enough with Act to justify that spending, I got to tell you, you're not using Act right. And hopefully all this training will teach you how to use Act better. So frankly, the price isn't even an option, or an issue, I should say. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you a little background on this training and make you aware of what I believe is a good product, a good service, and it's really worth taking a look at and working with. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tony Holowitz. Thank you so much for being here for this opening to the Act Web and Cloud training. Thank you very much. Have a great day.